To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. Guys, if you're not watching this on BattleViewer.com, go to BattleViewer.com and check it out. It's a fantastic experience. And finally, follow us on follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the league around you.
You can also answer our question of the day, which is who do you think will go to the finals for Season 1 2015, 2016?
25, 26. That would definitely have to be High Voltage and Refuse still. I mean, eLevate, man, after that first match, I mean, that was fantastic to watch. But for me, it's still High Voltage and Refuse. I think they're going to be the ones. How about you?
I agree completely, but while we're on the topic, let's bring up that updated bracket so you at home can see exactly what we're dealing with.
That is right. So up first, we had eLevate versus Simp. eLevate took that victory miraculously, I might say. What you guys just watched was battle number 2, Noble versus 07. Noble claimed that one. And now we are on to battle number 3. It is High Voltage versus eLevate. And next, still to be determined, Noble versus whoever's going to win. Noble versus Refuse. So that'll be the match after this one. But right now, it's going to be High Voltage versus eLevate. And we were talking about how you even said before this crazy thing happened that High Voltage would be the team, or eLevate would be the team if they got pumped up enough to take down High Voltage. We're about to see if that's the case. But first is the face-off between both of these amazing gentlemen. Welcome back, Zoid from eLevate. And on the side of High Voltage, we've got Tofu Smurf. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
What's up, guys?
Oh, nothing much. Zoid, we can hear you again, but we just can't see you. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and start with you, Zoid. It was so intense for us to watch that first battle. How intense was that for you guys?
I'll tell you, coming from the bench, listening in on comms is so stressful because I don't know exactly what's going on. I know for the guys playing, it was near heart attack situations, but we've done this to ourselves so many times. This is actually the second time this season that we played against Simp and we're down 1-4 and came back and won. We did it in playoffs last year. So I guess we're kind of used to it. I'd prefer we win in a little more less stressful ways, but a win's a win.
Yeah, if that's your style, man, roll with it. It's very exciting to watch.
Hey, Zoid, I can certainly identify with starting slow and building up momentum from there. Trust me. So that leads me to my next question. Do you feel that you guys are better prepared for High Voltage because you were challenged so early?
Absolutely. If you look back on the season, and you said just now, we're a little slow to start sometimes. We actually already have our start. We won 4 matches in a row. We're feeling like we're warmed up. We're good to go. And I think we're all feeling pretty strong right now.
All right, well, we cannot wait to see you guys play up next. But first, we're going to go over to Tofu Smurf from High Voltage, sir. Now, the first question from you guys is, you guys don't seem to have a consistent starting 7. You guys switch that up a lot. If you make it to the finals, how many will you bring?
From the beginning of the season, we always determined that we were going to, bring all 10 no matter what.
Okay.
And that's just the thing that we always wanted to do. We're 10 friends at the end of the day. So to be able to hopefully go to a finals and, be in one concentrated place, since we all live all over the place, or in some cases, different countries. So having the opportunity to be together in one location is always something we wanted to do. So we always intended to bring 10. Who the 7 who play are, or maybe more than 7 plays, depending on the maps and whatnot. So we'll see.
All right, well, definitely can't wait to see you guys if you do make the finals here, along with all 10 of your members.
I can attest that having your entire team in one place it's one of the best feelings overall.
Cool.
Winning is fun, but it's a very solidifying experience.
That camaraderie.
It's one of the things, the very first time my team got together, really forged us together as a team.
Awesome.
And we maintained that strength for quite a while. So, Tofu, after watching eLevate claw back from that last set, do you feel like that puts any more pressure on you guys to win?
I don't think so. I think we put enough pressure on ourselves. Like I said before, we've always had high expectations of ourselves. So we kind of, tune out everything else is just noise, and just kind of focus on ourselves. We knew that the eLevate Simp match was going to be a close match, a tight match. And both are good opponents, so it really didn't matter who came out of it, just so long as that we ourselves are prepared to the best that we can be.
Oh, well, it sounds like you guys are just as prepared as you will ever be for this next battle. Before we get into it, Tofu Smurf, do you have any words for Zoid before we start the third match of the night?
The only thing I could say is, have fun tonight, and I really wished this is like a big fight for their 2 teams. These are 2 teams, eLevate having won last season. So I really wish this was the one at a live setting, but, it is what it is.
All right. Zoid, your response.
Good luck, have fun. We've got tremendous respect for you guys, and I'm looking forward to this match.
There we go. Gentlemen, best of luck to both of your teams. We'll see you guys shortly. Man, I am extremely excited to see this matchup. I'm very excited to see how this kind of goes and where this plays out. Now, I was going to be saying, so two teams, well, now we know which two teams. It's going to be Noble and Elevate who are playing twice tonight. And now for me, we saw in the qualifiers, I was like, man, that would be exhausting. I mean, it would be so just tiring to play 2 matches in a row. You've already kind of, maybe exhausted all of your resources from that first one, and now you've got to face a second. But it might not be the case with Elevate, because after a match like that, I'd be like, yeah, let's fight 4. Let's get them all.
Yep. If High Voltage really wanted to exploit that thing, they could make the matches take longer.
Okay.
And then you
Just
really
exhaust
start
them.
to tire out your
That makes
opponent
sense.
after that. Some of the worst battles I've ever been a part of, we just played forever, and it was brutal.
Huh.
So I don't think High Voltage is really interested in that. They just want to play their game and win.
Yeah. Well, let's see
That's it.
let's pull up the rosters for both of these teams. We already take a look at Elevate. So, David, for the side of High Voltage, right now you got Tovu Smurf, Blue Boys captain. Some of the ones. Who is going to be shining, do you think? Who's going to be showing up tonight?
Both of these teams are just full of all-stars. But
Yeah.
honestly, I got to point out to Killzor for calling and playing at the same time,
right.
and Ox Mathis for being the almighty Ox Mathis. Meanwhile, for Elevate, same players we pointed out last time, Zone Delta,
Yeah.
Static, Arclet, all absolute beasts in their positions. And actually, G-Forcer put up some great work in that last
Yeah,
set
he
as
showed
well,
up
keeping
in
him
the
in the battle
playoffs.
at very key moments.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, our third match of the playoffs is underway. We're over halfway done. Actually, we're halfway done. Getting into Himmelsdorf now. High Voltage starting on defense, Elevate on offense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got from both of these teams for the Tanks.
The only match I could be more excited for is Refuse and whoever wins this, assuming Refuse gets through. But either way,
Sure.
High Voltage on defense with a 110, 2 5100s, 3 IS3s, and a T37. Elevate on offense with a 5100, 4 IS3s, a Roomba, a Borsig,
The
and a
waffle.
T37. Now, we should point out the two teams, neither of them have particularly preferred Himmelsdorf
Yeah.
as things have gone forward.
Yeah.
And it would not surprise me in the least if this was a High Voltage pick.
Okay.
I think they're the type of team we haven't seen play this very much. And they may have figured out something and then immediately started sitting on it and not trying to show anybody. It looks like they're running a different strategy from the last time we saw them. A little bit of containment on the outside and a lot of northeastern pressure. Elevate's going to have to come directly over the 0 line with the push they're making right now. And interestingly, this is a very similar lineup to how Simp pushed down this corner and did very well when they did it, but it does not look to me as though High Voltage is even second guessing where these tanks are coming from. To Killzor, heavy 20, perfectly lined up for these shots. Anfield is pushed all the way down to G3.
Wow.
Knows for a fact nothing has
Wow.
come through the G line. Ox Mathis has been spotting. He'll know if anything's on the hill because he can fire at it. They're both in great positions to flex. They need to get that flex moving a little bit faster based on what's going on here right now. I don't know if they expect a K line, but it looks like some of the tanks are slightly out of position, but now they know the answers. Elevate crashing down on High
Wow.
Voltage, and the battle's about to kick off.
Tons of damage going on to the Killzor there, and IS3 a little bit onto Azrael, but more damage definitely for High Voltage than for Elevate coming out there right on this initial 0 line push there. Now, if you are Elevate and you've made it to this position, David, without taking too much damage, really all the damage is only on one tank. Now, correct me now, Static getting tracked there, having a quick repair. Now go back. Cap pressure being applied already for Elevate. You've got Azrael, Arclet, Dark God Zim, and the T37 up, putting that pressure on, having High Voltage, forcing them to come back and deal with this. David, if you are High Voltage, is there a good way to approach this, a bad way to approach this, and are they
There
doing?
is no good way to approach this.
Okay.
The first guy who pokes, if he gets hit by that Borsig, is dead. To Killzor, I don't know if it would be safe to say he might as well just take it. But Ox Math is going to take it on the face, and here it goes. Daki's got to move across. Another shot coming out for 400 out of Anfield onto the reset area. They have to push additional pressure on here, and they are in very tough positions. But Static is now isolated zone. Delta has the shots behind, and as long as Blue Boys can get through here and start the resets, it should be in High Voltage's favor. But Elevate crashing down in a counter, and it's really kicking off now.
Let's see how it goes here. Static backing up. He is now safe as Elevate comes to back him up. 13 seconds on the clock. Ox Mathis gets a shot to Dark God Zim, taking that T37 down. Cap pressure pressure now being alleviated for High Voltage. The fight over on the side going through to Killzor, picking up Asriel, another tank falling, and that is cap pressure gone for eLevate. Arclight does have an opportunity to take down Oxmathis in this 110, but it doesn't look like he's going to take it as he is being bullied. Amar Lee picks up wall hacks. Blue Boy's captain is extremely low. Oxmathis another kill, picking up Arclight, and now eLevate has only 4 tanks against the 5 of High Voltage. Zone Delta takes out Blue Boy's captain. Anfield responds by taking Zone down himself. Angry Guy picks up Static. Just 2 tanks remain for eLevate against the 4 for High Voltage. And if this continues, it looks like High Voltage is going to pick this one up. Look who joined the fight. Angry Guy in that T-37 having free reign over G-Forcer in that 5100. He is on reload. He has nowhere to go. And Oxmathis is actually going to pick that one up, stealing it away from Angry Guy. Just Amar Lee in that waffle remains. I mean, he could one-shot Oxmathis. He might be able to get a nice shot onto Heavy 20 there.
This is not... Borzig in this situation is not the tank you want. He's great for full health tanks. He does a lot of damage. But so what? Anything can one-shot Oxmathis right now, and then you have a huge reload. So either way, he's going down soon. Missed that shot.
Oh, man.
But Angry Guy...
Woo!
Helping bring that match out of the fire. Strong play from High Voltage to stay so resilient in a situation that looked borderline hopeless. Let's see if there's anything in statistics. And not really.
Okay.
Amar Lee, almost 2,000 in the Borzig, getting massive shots out.
Not quite
Overall,
worth it.
hitting 3 for 3 for penetrations. That's unreal. And then Anfield, 23-48. With a perfect 7. That's 7 shots, 7 hits, 7 penetrations. He got to come in late. He made his positions great shots from there.
Absolutely.
Angry Guy with 7-23 with a perfect 6. Now, I got beyond excited when Angry Guy showed up. And it's not just because he's solving the puzzle, but we've talked about this all season. And I've been asking, just openly postulating, why aren't any of the tier 6s just kind of flanking around, going up the hill and coming down behind?
True.
Because if they get in that position, it's
They're
much better
unstoppable.
than the 1 or 2 shots they'll get from the sides. They can clean up everything. As soon as I saw it, I just wanted to stand up and start screaming. Angry Guy has arrived, just like Canadian Impact, cleaned up everything.
Yeah.
Huge play from everybody in that situation. A great strategy from eLevate. I couldn't have been happier with the way that match turned out.
Well, man, and like talking about it, High Voltage was in such a dire situation there. I mean, I asked you, hey, is there any good way to approach it? Like, no, there's no single good way for them to do this.
Stepping into an awful
And
situation.
they still found a way to claw the way back. When it gets to that, just raw tank on tank, is that where that comes down to just talent? Just
Yes.
pure player talent.
Talent and a large chunk of luck is pretty much what it comes down to. A lot of those people are taking quick shots and just hoping they hit. And if they get, but in that situation, I'd have to see if eLevate had some bad shots or why exactly they couldn't convert some of that into more damage. But great play. Luck is not a factor for High Voltage in that. Great play pulling everything out of the fire.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't get better than that.
An explosive first battle of our third matchup. Ready for battle number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't switched sides. High Voltage is still on defense. eLevate on offense. Let's see if they can do it again and find another victory, or if eLevate can tie it up. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
High Voltage with 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, a T-32 and a T-37. eLevate dropping the Borzig, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s and a T-37. We are in a relative head-to-head here with 1 T-32 and 1 IS-3 being different. Otherwise, we would have a gentleman's duel of sorts of both people choosing to play the same lineups. But as it is, it's close enough. eLevate going up the 0 line again. And that is either a brilliant meta decision
Meta play, right,
or a catastrophe waiting to happen. It really depends, and I feel like you've got to count the fact that High Voltage is going to see where tanks are going. And even though some of their tanks rotated slightly late to get to the shots they needed last time, it was very safe rotations, smart rotations in a lot of ways. Anfield coming in late, but put up the biggest, most important numbers in that match, getting into the window.
Right.
And just being a situation with the 5100s and the Borzig really couldn't do a whole lot to them.
Oh, look at this.
And that saved everything. But they are, High Voltage is pushing all the way up into the 0 line, and that is dangerous territory.
Yeah.
We've seen this a number of times. You think you want to get shots on them when they come down, but the real answer is not really. However, High Voltage has changed this up a little bit. I like how they're not doing it in the A line, and instead are going to do it here, where Anfield and wall hacks can immediately move up to this berm, and now they have that fallback, hull down support on the 50s.
Very nice.
To prevent them from being overwhelmed the way we usually do. But Oxmathis is the one at risk here, majorly, again with a little bit of a fallback, just staggered defense in 2 phases, protecting each tank as they move forward. Those 50s moving up the hill would be a catastrophe at this point, as they would isolate themselves. The T-32 is already at enough risk. He's going to poke, but he's going to actually get a shot off.
Wow.
And I just can't even fathom the guts it had to take to make that call and to push that tank up there. That is some crazy play. It's either genius or insanity. There's a nice set of fail-safes there to make sure it doesn't go completely wrong.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful amount of intelligence that just came out from that spot alone. And now High Voltage knows everything they need. There's only one place eLevate can be, and it's in the 8 line, unless they're pushing all the way across the K line in the bottom. But Angry Guy should be able to spot them doing that. And they're going to drive across the G line?
Yeah,
Which
looks like they're pushing right across.
It's got to be one of the worst vectors to cross here, unless they're going to hold up and use some of these positions. Okay, Zone Delta taking the window. Angry Guy sliding away. Borderline MVP of last match, although, you got to give it to Ox just taking it in the face into kills or just muscling up and playing awful situations. Actually, everybody on the team gets a huge merit badge for courage in that last one.
Just winning that one was
a
great,
lot of teams
guys.
would have lost just because they're too afraid. And High Voltage had to look at the situation and go, well, we're either going to lose trying or we're going to lose sitting here. Let's go ahead and try. And they pulled it out. Barely.
A fantastic victory again for that first matchup. And now looking at, kind of looking what we got Ox Mathis up on top of the hill there.
This is the most perplexing situation eLevate could possibly be in. I would hate to have this happen to me. There's just so much going on here that you cannot expect to be happening. Once that 100 comes down from behind, it's going to get real.
Well, here it is. First Aqua getting a lot of focus damage there coming out as High Voltage pushed down, but Wall Hacks taking a good chunk as well in his IS-3. And now we have a little bit of a corner fight going between these IS-3s here. A 5100 joining for the side of High Voltage, and another, a 4th IS-3 joining for eLevate. They continue to push on the side. They know the overmatch they got, and they're going to try to clean it up before High Voltage has any sort of chance to respond. Damage going on to Heavy 20 there in that 5100, but he's doing a good job tracking where he can. Anfield and Wall Hacks having to back up. Static picking up Anfield, the first tank of the battle going down for the side of High Voltage, and eLevate continuing to find more. Arkland picks up Wall Hacks, but Blue Boys captain responds by taking down Azrael. Heavy 20 will be going down here. There is nothing that he can do as he is on the run here. He will just get out damage. Arkland picking that one up. Now just 4 tanks remain for High Voltage. Blue Boys captain going head-to-head against MRLE here. 2 5100s. Let's see who's going to come out on top. It's going to be MRLE because Blue Boys had no more shots left in that gun. Angry Guy also going down. eLevate will find this victory. They are now collapsing on into Killzor, and then it will just be Ox Mathis and a T-32 remaining. eLevate found a way to turn this one around and claims the victory for themselves.
eLevate just brute forcing the most obvious path and not even playing around with it. The biggest problem with High Voltage's positions there were more the fact that the T-32 Ox Mathis was in no position to do anything throughout that entire fight.
Gotcha.
It's he should have come down. They should have had him come down, I should say, to B8 or so, where he would have been a beast in that corner fight. And Blue Boys coming in and getting 2 shots of damage in, and then mostly dumping into another 5100 that had him out-clipped. MRLE was guaranteed to kill him, and it's a perfect situation for MRLE to convert. And a number of things just continued playing into eLevate's favor there. And while I was very disconcerted looking at it and the possibilities that High Voltage could have pulled off that situation,
None of them.
turns out the fancy, crazy spread didn't work out.
Wow.
And I'm sure that's something eLevate's very happy about.
Look at this
They
here.
lost with that. Ooh.
On the cap here, eLevate just unicorning into success. They picked up a victory, tying it up 1-1 against High Voltage. And then, again, very early on, but it's a nice pickup for them there. We did say this possibly was High Voltage. You were guessing this was their map they picked up against to maybe find somewhere to take down eLevate, but so far it's all tied up. But I was kind of wondering also, with that push going up, you said it was either genius for them to go up again on the hill again, they being eLevate, or it was just kind of insanity. They did push up on the hill. It didn't quite work out, I guess, the way that they wanted to because they decided to back off anyway. Why do you think they backed off instead of continuing to push?
They had Dark Odd Sim doing scouting, and I believe he found some things and realized that High Voltage was set up in the same trap, more or less, or the same trap. As far as their positions and what they saw, it was probably going to be exactly the same.
Right.
Reality is it was going to be worse, as in like worse for eLevate. It could have gone horrendously bad. So it was a smart call for them getting out of there. Static doing the most for eLevate. Perfect 6. hitting all 6 of his shots for damage for 2319.
Wow.
MR Lee getting an easy 1800. He's basically fed Blue Boys.
Right.
And Zone Delta following in right behind that at 1618. Overall, great play out of the IS-3s, and not so great play out of the IS-3s on High Voltage's side. To Killzor in the fight late with 862.
Okay.
Anfield directly in the fight with 744. And some of the other guys didn't do so bad, but overall, just bouncing a lot of shots I saw.
Yeah.
Heavy 20 shot 6, pen 3.
There it is.
There's your
3
problem.
bounces.
Well, it's not the whole problem, but it's one of them.
Yeah.
Because
Doesn't help.
5100's job is to put down a tank.
Right.
And if he fails to do that, then everything snowballs because there's one more gun left. And if that gun's an IS-3's gun,
You're in trouble.
rip you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is all tied up 1-1. High Voltage versus eLevate. Let's see who continue. Let's see the trend that develops, because so far it's dead even. We're into into Himmelsdorf. We've switched sides. So let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Well, I have a trend for you. There's a Borzig on the map again.
Hey, waffle.
High Voltage with 5100, 3 IS-3s, a T-32, a Borzig and a T-37. eLevate with a 5100, 5 IS-3s, and FP304. So, quite frankly, it's going to be rough times playing that Borzig for Killzor. Because if the FP304 gets shots, it's going to be bad.
I mean,
Borzig has no armor,
Right.
essentially. Virtually none.
Well, and also the entire top of the tank is open.
Yeah. And it can,
That also doesn't help.
bad things can happen to it from artillery.
Oh, man, here we
Everybody
go.
knows that.
Dark
So,
God Zim, the FP304 doing the scouting run, driving straight into the courtyard. In
the
this
FBC
artillery.
lamp scouting run coming at you, going straight across.
Oh,
I
man.
wonder if he's going to stop in this corner. That'd be interesting.
He's gonna. Do you think he's gonna proxy spot with his
Yep,
artillery?
he's going to proxy spot the
My
corner.
goodness.
I mean, well, if you're going to do it with a tier 6, you might as well do it with that,
Look how
right?
he fits perfectly in there too. Look at that, just backing
It's
right in.
harder to hit, and if you kept driving, he can reset you from there. It's not a bad call at all.
You can
High
do it.
voltage.
Parallel parking. There we go.
Voltage struggling to find the vector they want. Probably just running some spot checks, some timing things. Now they're going to push up the 8 line because they have correctly spotted static in the 1 line and now know that most of the tanks for eLevate are going to be in the west side.
Man.
Azrael on his own in an IS-3. That's risky stuff.
Here we go.
So Delta get 1 shot as they cross. MR Lee, G-Forcer, and 1 more IS-3 will get more shots as the rest of them cross this gap right now.
Here we go. Wallhack Beam actually tracked. Who's gonna back up Heavy 20? A quick repair going through. Angry Guy into kills are now going through. The Roomba actually bounced a shot. My goodness. That is a strong waffle there coming out. And then it takes 2 damage from Moran from Blue Boys Captain F55. But not a lot of damage there going across on the team of High Voltage. So maybe eLevate missing a very, very key opportunity. And Anfield picks up Dark God Zim. Rip.
To
That
Killzor
scout.
is running the 120, the 120 on the Borzig. So he's running the better gun in many ways. It doesn't have that alpha damage, but it has consistent high penetration with accuracy.
Okay.
And if he gets to go head to head with Azrael, maybe not head to head, but if he gets some cover, he can snipe Azrael's roof, no
All day.
problem. So that
is
could
brilliant.
be a great choice in this situation. Looks like they're going to push him up the 0 line this way. Okay.
This is going to get messy here.
Be pretty good.
Angry Guy now taking some shots there on that T-37. Arclet taking, having to try and find return fire where he can. 46 seconds now on the clock for High Voltage. eLevate pushing through. Now this is going to be interesting to see as well. Arclet picks up Angry Guy on that T-37. He was, in effect, the shield. So let's see how well he can do his job. G-Forcer now is on the side, proxy spotting Heavy 20 and Anfield. Zone Delta static coming around from the other side in those IS-3s. Arclet popping out, taking a good chunk of damage. G-Forcer in that IS-3 getting dropped to below half health almost instantly. Now Alex Mathis in that T-32 finds Zone Delta and actually takes the shot. Zone Delta missing his. 23 seconds now on the clock. Going to continue to try to find the damage where they can. eLevate has to find a response. It has to find it quickly to Killzor, and Blue Boys Captain is set up over in that on the 0 line for any member of eLevate to pop out. They will find the shots where needed. A nice little reset there going on. I believe that was Arclet responsible for that one. 29 seconds on the clock. Again, High Voltage does have the HP advantage by just 200. It is also tie up tanks 6-6. Let's see how this unfolds. 20 seconds now on the clock. We will be seeing action kick off any moment, as it is up to eLevate to get the resets. They are just waiting for that opportune moment to come around the side. Heavy 20 taking another chunk of damage, but all those cap points, I should say most of them, are riding on Anfield in that IS-3. So let's see if they get there. They being eLevate can get the shots they need. Zone Delta trying to reposition with static. Ox Mathis doing a good job keeping those two IS-3s in check. Now G-Force are taking some more damage, down to 8 seconds. This is where eLevate needs to go. This is when they need to push, and they need to push now. Arclight going inside. G-Force taking the shots now. Asriel and Amarilli come around. They need to find Anfield. Down to 0 for seconds, so they get the shot just in time, in the very nick of time. And now the fight has begun. Amarilli over 1,000 points of damage to that 5100, and down in the back, static fighting against Zone Delta here. Asriel picks up Heavy 20, and IS3 going down for High Voltage. eLevate is now tied with High Voltage. 5-5. Blue Boys captain deciding to come off the hill to Killzor in the waffle, lining a shot up. Let's see if he can take it. Blue Boys captain doing a good job, just trying to zone any members that he can. Zone Delta taking a huge chunk of damage there, but Static picks up to Killzor. Blue Boys captain still has 18 seconds on the reload, and it looks like High Voltage won't be able to pick this one up either, because eLevate should clean this one up. Ox Mathis in the T-32 should be going down. I don't know, Arclit and
it's
Zone
still
Delta
real close. It is still
are
incredibly
extremely
close.
low.
Blue Boys captain is almost loaded, and that could spell the end for eLevate. No problem. High Voltage still has 400 hit point advantage.
Oh, I did not see that. Nice point out, David. Blue Boys captain, locked and loaded. 6 more shots there in that 5100. If he can pick up Arclit, then Zone, then Static, this will definitely swing back into the favor of High Voltage here. It is a 5-on-4. The first shot, Blue Boys captain, it connects, and he is ready to do business. Zone Delta coming around the corner, trying to fight Ox Mathis. 6 seconds on the clock. Now they're coming in. Wallhacks picking up Asriel. Ox Mathis finds Static. They need to find a reset, and quickly, it is actually down to 0. Amarilli did not get the shot up in time. High Voltage picking up the victory, finding the cap, and it is now bringing it 2-1 against eLevate here in the third matchup of the night. My goodness, this is back and forth. That had to be stressful for both teams there, but congratulations to High Voltage.
I'm not even playing, and I don't think I breathed in the last 3 minutes aside from to say a couple of words there. Let's go to statistics, because
let's do it.
That was crazy, and there's no way to discuss it other than seeing exactly what people did in that situation. Ox Mathis, 10 penetrations for 12 shots in the T-32, 2,400 overall. Anfield, 1,800, basically. To Killzor, 1,434, 3 for 3 for overall penetrations. Possibly pushing himself a little bit too far forward, but maybe that was the right sacrifice play to make at the time. Possibly giving the T-32 a haul down because he's so flat. Blue Boys with 1,362 didn't hit overall as many shots as he could have. Most of those misses there at the end on a tank that didn't really matter. Right. Looks like well, no, he got some damage done to him when he was pushing to Killzor there to get him out of the line of fire. It was worth it. Heavy 20. He was more of the blocking tank in that situation. Anfield surprisingly got a ton of damage even while capping, which is very interesting. Wall hacks, again, just another cover tank, another sacrifice tank. An angry guy, he was there just to die and be a wall.
Yeah, and he did that well.
For eLevate, Static did a great job. Arclit did a great job. Asriel had a unique position where I'd have to get back in game to really describe why it was great. And the rest of the team not getting the angles they needed to get into that fight. Yeah. That was just crazy. That was one of the most intense
Northern Caps,
longest-lasting brawls I have ever seen in this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Anything can happen in the playoffs, and so far you've seen 2 crazy things. We're just into match number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the next battle is ready. Let's see if High Voltage can get 3-1 victory before moving on to the next map, or if eLevate can tie it up 2-2. We're into the battle. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
We'll say whoever gets through this battle certainly deserves the money they are winning.
My goodness.
High Voltage with 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, a T-32, a T-37. eLevate with 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, and 2 Tiger 1s.
Right now, I think like you pointed out, this is the battle. One of these 2 teams will make it into the finals. One of these 2 teams will be playing for $75,000. So this is definitely high pressure, high stakes. The game is on, and we are seeing that so far out of this just 3rd match of the night. Right off the bat, we've got eLevate going for a very kind of standard Northern Cap pressure here. Got High Voltage with more of a spread, not putting too many members on top of the hill. Sending Wallhack and Anfield down, pairing off Heavy 20 into Killzor now moving through. Dave, when we see a spread like this coming up for this team, actually no, it's like Wallhack and Anfield are going to go up on top of the hill.
Yeah, it's just sort of a movement thing where they're trying to check for certain things, open up their options, and they decide they want to push hill later now that the T-37 is guaranteed it is clear. Among other things, there's a lot of checks that were happening right there.
Gotcha.
So they figure as long as they're in motion, they can choose where to go. And fortunately for them, they didn't choose the 8 line because 2 Tiger 1s just sitting there waiting for it. And Static there as well. Now the Tiger 1s, we've talked about many times, and they are very susceptible. And on this map in particular, I am still 50-50 on them, as in most situations. The only maps that I would say they're absolutely terrible are mostly open maps, if they get spotted, because they can be penetrated from almost anywhere. As you can see, when they poke around a corner,
They're all around the corner.
a good chunk of their tank, this whole angle, is now hittable. Now, in smaller tiers, that's great. That's angled armor.
Sure.
It's better than an IS-3
Sure.
in that situation. At this tier, all these tanks can penetrate that. No problem. So for this situation, it is not necessarily the best tank around, but it does have great deep damage per minute. And if you can kind of shuffle them around and protect them a little bit, that damage will add up, and they can be a major factor, as there's always the head game of you have to deal with the Tiger 1s, but you can't deal with the Tiger 1s because you have reloads to worry about.
Gotcha.
And they're better if you can do damage to them while
Before
backing
you
off
fight.
and negating their DPM. If you get a head-to-head fight with an IS-3, the IS-3 should just shoot him and back off and buy the time to reload.
Okay.
And that negates the fact that the Tiger 1s fire quickly, and then you just get into an alpha fight and the IS-3
IS-3
wins.
wins,
In
okay.
fact, if you want to get in an alpha fight, the IS-3 is going to beat most tier rates, aside from, you know, the Borzig and anything that really has incredible alpha, like the tank destroyers in particular. But there's nothing out of the heavies that can really rival the alpha. We got the IS-3 and Azrael doing 1 shot of damage onto Killzor. The Killzor caught in kind of an awkward position here. Wallhacks and Anfield going to come back him up, and this is really going to depend on how well eLevate rotates and who they pick on. If they can keep to Killzor here, which they are in great position to do, and High Voltage cannot keep them locked into the 8 line, never mind, Killzor is going to get out of that vector quickly. That is smart for him, as everybody else is coming. Wallhacks and Anfield need to push through as well, and they will be in business.
All right, here, let's see what kind of damage goes through there. MRLE in the 5100 is first out of 6 shots. Going on to Anfield, getting tracked. Anfield repairing, but it looks like they're just going straight for Azrael. 732 points of damage, 306 now. One more shot, he should be going down. Let's see who's going to pick that one up, or if eLevate can respond quick enough. Blue Boys captain it is, taking Azrael down. The IS-3 already falling for eLevate, who now have 3 members on cap, dropping it to 27 seconds. It's not the hardest place to reset. Generally, when we see teams going for this Western cap, they go for the little building you guys see right in the center of your screen. A really hard place for an eLevate or the defending team to come around and get. But over here on the south, G-Forcer, Dark Odds, and Static coming in with the flank. Static picking up to Killzor. A nice pick up there. Now it's Wallhacks and Anfield against the 3 flanking members, 2 Tiger 1s and an IS-3. The DPM coming out, David. Let's see if it matters for eLevate. Static picking up Angry Guy. 46 seconds on the clock. Heavy 20 just let his last shot fly. Emily still has 1 more left. And now the rest of eLevate pushing in on these 2 remaining tanks on the cap. Anfield and Wallhacks is in trouble. They definitely cannot go anywhere. Zone Delta popping up, trying to take a shot. Dark Odds in, picking up another kill. Wallhacks will go down to Zone Delta. Just 3 tanks remain on the side of High Voltage against the 6, for eLevate here. Looks like Heavy 20 is going to be the one that they're going to collapse down upon. Arclit coming around the side, making sure he cannot go anywhere. Blue Boys captain, Ox Mathis, are the only ones that remains. Once Heavy 20 goes down, Ox Mathis doing his best to find some shots. Dark Odds in, picking up Heavy 20, and now Static against Static against Blue Boys. Actually, maybe he's trying to proxy spot them. Either way, High Voltage on offense have nothing that they can do against eLevate, who just needs to defend for 2 more minutes. They will have this one in the bag. eLevate ties this one up 2-2. Third match of the night.
eLevate exploiting some serious weaknesses from High Voltage strategic efforts there. I still do not understand why Ox Mathis is continuously placed on hill so far here. It is one of the worst tanks to put up there. He gets down incredibly slow, and he wasn't there for the entire fight, which pretty much gave eLevate everything they needed to win. If you're going to bring in 32, you're going to put him up there. I don't know. A 5100 would have made that game. It would have guaranteed a win for High Voltage for the most part.
Wow.
It just not a great strategy overall. And eLevate just mopping up everything that happened. All those tanks that are left, easiest win they've had all day, pretty much.
And they've had some pretty tough wins to come out of. So I mean, maybe not saying too much there, but there's almost just give it to them there by High Voltage. A nice pickup for that team, tying it up 2-2. Dude, we talked about it. You said if there is any team that could take down High Voltage, it would be eLevate after the crazy comeback against FIMP. And right now, they are toe-to-toe with the top team so far in the season.
Absolutely. Now,
Insane.
eLevate has been underperforming for the vast majority of this season. I mean, that's That's no surprise to anybody. We've talked about it plenty of times, but they have stepped it up quite a bit, and that was a huge morale victory for eLevate. They've got the ball rolling. They're comfortable being relatively even after they just had that last match.
That's
like,
true.
no sweat, stay cool. We already did this once.
good.
Just do it again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, High Voltage really hasn't been put on the ropes yet. And I think they thought they had a huge strategic advantage on Himmelsdorf and it just got squandered.
Sure.
I would be very surprised if eLevate is the one who chose chose Himmelsdorf there.
Okay.
It is a possibility.
Okay.
But I would have expected, just based on the lineups and based on kind of the dynamic strategies that High Voltage was trying to run and failing,
You think they chose
I
it?
feel like that was High Voltage's choice, and it was a
It just
squandered
didn't work.
choice. Should have taken him into mines.
Uh-oh.
It's High Voltage's bread and butter. I don't understand. It should have gone to something else. But overall, we are moving on to Ghost Town.
Yeah. I was going to
This is
say.
two city corner maps in a row, and that does not bode well for High Voltage so far, even though they are head-to-head.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to say. So coming into Ghost Town, I'm looking at both of these teams. They are tied up. They are even. Who are you going to give the slight advantage to coming into the city battle?
I would have to give it to eLevate for one reason. They haven't played it all season.
Really?
Not once. Not that I know of. I don't. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure
that.
they haven't played it
So
a single
High
time.
Voltage have no idea what this team might be able to bring to the table
Nope.
here.
And High Voltage
That
has
has
played it
got
a
to
couple
be
times.
scary.
That is an uncomfortable situation.
Absolutely.
And from what I understand, the two maps that eLevate has been banning all season long were Himmelsdorf and Ghost Town. They didn't start out banning Himmelsdorf, but they quickly got there after they had some struggles on it.
Okay.
So if they've been banning these two all the time, and perhaps High Voltage thought they would continue doing it, which would be a huge mistake if that's the case, could have just given eLevate everything they needed to win. I don't know.
Man.
If you're bad on a map, just ban it. Don't try and rely on other people. It depends on the situation. But as it is right now, head-to-head with High Voltage on defense.
That is right. 2-2. It is all tied up. Let's get right into Ghost Town. No more waiting. And take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
High Voltage with two 5100s, two IS3s, a T32, and two Tiger 1s.
Wow.
eLevate with two 5100s, four IS3s, and a T37.
I think I just
That's regular strategy so far. If they put the tanks in the right spots, we'll see. We'll see. But High Voltage's defense is incredibly hard to break. Would not surprise me to see them. Okay, no, this would surprise me. I was going to say it wouldn't surprise me to see them boost onto the hill at A3 with a T32. Something they've done in the past. It's a phenomenal position. And unfortunately, I can't necessarily get into why, because the person who explained so much of the details to me was to kill Zor, and I have promised all the teams that if they tell me something I didn't already know, I wouldn't tell everybody else.
There you go. See, he's a
apologize.
trustworthy man.
I apologize to the viewers. All I will say is it is one of the best positions for defense that you can possibly ever have with a T32. But High Voltage playing something a little bit different, probably expecting to have to defend caps a little bit more ferociously, and perhaps having their own counter plan getting ready here. But both of these Tiger 1s are wide in the open, and Zone Delta could get a nice shot in any second here on Anfield.
See if that shot comes. Actually, the shot going to go into Zone Delta. And his shot doesn't connect. No, it does go into Anfield.
That wasn't a fair trade.
Good chunk of damage.
At all.
It was not at all. And you kind of pointing out just the weakness there of the Tiger 1. Once it takes a shot to pop out, well, most of its hull is exposed. So Delta taking advantage of that. More damage gone on the side of High Voltage and to
They
elevate.
weren't even poking in that instance. They were both just sitting in the road. I'm not entirely sure what they were trying to plan there, or if it was just an oversight.
Really?
Usually I expect teams of this caliber to have some sort of reason for it. But I'm not sure that had a reason. I didn't see one. Oh, this is going to be nasty. One group push for High Voltage potentially coming out here, and both these 5100s, if they are spotted, are so dead.
There we go. They now looks like they're actually turning to static here. Zone Delta coming up in his IS-3. And now it's Tucson's Madness, who was pushed over the side. He might be caught up just for a moment here. Heavy 20 Woltage coming to the side. This is going to be the fight. Ox Madness might go down, but Amber Lee should fall any moment now. Arklin will go down as well. David, you called it. The two 5100s should fall here. One more shot, and Arklin will go down. It's going to be to Killzor, who picks that one up. Two tanks falling for eLevate to the side of one falling for High Voltage, and those two 5100s going down is a huge pickup, but Zone Delta finding Killzor. G-Forcer picks up Anfield. The two Tiger 1s have now fallen for High Voltage, and eLevate with their response clawing their way back here from what might have been a very devastating loss. Wallhacks backing up back into the center cap there. Heavy 20 against Dark God Zim and his T37. Zone Delta, one more shot, and he will go down. eLevate trying to collapse now. Wallhacks is reloaded. Heavy 20 Trying to save that shot for Dark God Zim there. Dark God Zim might be able to take him down if he gets a good roll there. No, Heavy 20 picks it up. Blue Boys captain flying Zone Delta. Back-to-back kills there coming out for High Voltage, making it a 3-on-4 in favor of the defending team. Ampro now being forced to actually trapping Azriel and Static in with the rest of his teammates. Amp picks up a kill. Azriel finds one as well. And now it is Amp versus G-Forcer with Azriel. Blue Boys captain is on the run. He is on the reload. He's got like 20 seconds left in that 5100. Ampro should go down here. I don't think his reload will be enough time. Looks like he knows that he's trying to find some sort of defense. If he can bounce a shot or if he can just get one more on G-Forcer, he'll go down. No, Azriel picks up that kill. And now it is a 2-on-2. The HP so close, slightly in favor of eLevate here by just about 300 points. Heavy 20 though is reloaded. He did by the time as well with Blue Boys captains. Both have 6 shots ready. That's 12 shots together for High Voltage. And David, if you've got two 5100s fully loaded against two IS3s, looking at the health of the way they are, who would you give the advantage to?
That is an incredibly difficult call. Technically, it should be in the 5100's hands.
Okay.
But there's essentially 3 shots from an IS3 before both of them are dead. Meanwhile, you have to put 5 into Azriel's IS3 to kill him. That's just a DPM per HP remaining situation.
Okay.
And High Voltage has less. What I really think should have happened there, and this is reaching way, way back, and these are tactics that people really forgot, but many tournaments we have, or my team has made success about doing the opposite of what Blue Boys just did. Blue Boys ran to get his clip, and he left IS3s in the wind. And if Blue Boys had decided to block those IS3s just as much as possible, it could have lengthened the life of those IS3s and given him a chance to work G-Forcer down in particular. And once G-Forcer was dead, if you had an IS3 and a 5100 at a Heavy 20's health with only Azriel left, I tell you who I give it to then. Because the IS3 takes a shot and the 5100 finishes it off. 250s is not exactly what you want, especially driving into this position. This is not nearly good enough of a position for High Voltage considering what they could have had, and that could have been a critical mistake overall, but that is definitely open for debate. I know a lot of people would not agree with me on that one, but I will say from experience, sacrificing a 5100 to save multiple IS3s is worth it in an extended IS3 brawl. What you care about is the IS3s.
Well, let's see if that was the case here. If High Voltage can somehow pull it out. 16 seconds is on the clock. They're actually rushing into the two IS3s. The first shot missing. The second shot from G-Force going through. Blue Boys held his clip. Let's see if he can find the damage. He does. He picks it up. It is now two 5100s against an IS3. And Azriel's shot almost reloaded. Blue Boys captain will go down. Heavy 20 is on the run. 1 minute and 26 seconds. He actually has bought just enough time to stall. Heavy 20 is on the reload. So he just has to outrun Azriel now. And Azriel knows this. He is chasing down. It is now going to be a mind game from this point out. Who can chase down who can outthink who, but I'm going to give the advantage to Heavy 20, definitely the lighter tank.
That was the gutsiest thing I've ever seen on Heavy 20's part. Either way he went, it was just clench city, but he chose the perfect path somehow. And Azriel trying to take the smart path, trying to head Heavy 20 off on the most likely path.
Oh no.
Failed. So either Heavy 20 was directly in his head there, or he just got lucky because so he technically should have taken the shortest turn possible to get away from the 6-line shot. Because Azriel could have driven right there and hit him the direction he went. No problem.
Okay.
But as it was, Azriel tried to head him off there. Oh no. Missed it. Heavy 20 still is not out of the woods.
No,
yet.
He's going into a corner.
Dangerous right now.
Absolutely.
He's got to get outside of Azriel's spotting range. That's the most important part. 26 seconds left. He hasn't been spotted. If he can make it around this corner, 20 seconds, he is not out.
He did it.
He's good.
He made it.
He should be able to outlast 10 seconds here. As long as he doesn't poke.
Oh, but if
Azriel, it's going to come
lucky,
so close.
It's going to be very close.
It's going to come so close.
Pushing through 5 more seconds on the clock. He knows he's got to be forward. He's going straight on 1 more second. Now down to 0. He was on the right path, but just not enough time. He lets the shot out. High Voltage picking up that victory, increasing the lead 3-2 onto Ghost Town. That was actually that was close.
I was wrong to criticize Azriel in that. Him flaring out wide was that. Actually knew he better knew the terrain he was about to fire in. So rather than drive a straight line and have to poke around a corner, he drove wide to get a better angle to shoot in.
Gotcha.
So he's saving the amount of time that he had.
Just not enough time.
Azriel
2 more seconds.
9 penetrations for 34.95.
Whoa. That's getting up there in our record book right there.
It's not. It hasn't.
It's not
didn't,
record.
Didn't beat Meadowhawk.
3,800 was Meadowhawks, right?
He's like 37.
Something
3740.
crazy, but still,
like
3,400 points.
Absurd. Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
It's in the top 3.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
With Killzor and Drynitz, I believe, are the other two. But whatever. We'll get to the actual details of that some other time. Wallhacks did the best on his team with 2,004.
Wow.
Damage in an IS-3. That was just a very strange battle for High Voltage. They looked
Very
uncomfortable
close.
the whole time. And I've got to say, I got to repeat myself, especially after watching the match play out the way it did.
Yeah.
I would have vastly preferred to sacrifice that 5,100 in order to save IS-3s.
Okay.
Because the IS-3s wouldn't have given the breathing room for them to drive off and go to cap. You would have been in a situation where you had to try and sneak around the 5,100 to get shots in.
Gotcha.
But if you did it, the 5,100 is now a corner, right? And as we know, the IS-3 gets a shot. First time you poke around a corner, they have a chance to track you, a number of other things.
Right.
Plus, they could have kept him engaged while Heavy 20 came around behind. It's a number of things.
Lot of
I'm not going to criticize too much because that is it's a hard call to make.
Yeah.
Nobody knows
Especially
what to do in that
if you can't
situation.
see, you have the bird's eye view like we do,
And it would have had to have been made instantly or before Blue Boys ran out of his shots, because once the IS-3 started taking damage, then the efficiency of what I'm talking about
falls
starts
off.
dropping and dropping and dropping. So it would have had to have been a mandatory thing from the beginning.
Gotcha.
Generally, in my opinion, if you're in a head-to-head battle like that, you drain the clip out of the 5,100 and sacrifice his body to get into the fight.
All right, well, it did actually work out for High Voltage there, but just by a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen, we're into the next battle. High Voltage is still on defense, now up 3-2 against eLevate. Let's see if they can continue that victory, or if eLevate continue going toe-to-toe with these guys. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
I still can't believe Blue Boys did that, Ram. He did it to get a reset, to save
Oh,
every 20, but still, it's just mind-blowing. High Voltage on defense, now up by 1 match. Need to expand that even further. 2 5,100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T-32s, and a T-37. eLevate trying to make up for that last borderline win.
Man.
Slipping through their fingers with a 2 5,100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. Right now, though, the head-to-head fight has gone in eLevate's favor more than once, with the exception of that one really crazy fight on Himmelsdorf.
That is true. Also, just these back and forth plays coming out from both teams. First, High Voltage gets one. eLevate responds. High Voltage picks up another one. eLevate responds. High Voltage gets a third one. So let's see if that strategy, that's not a strategy, that theme will continue coming out. eLevate might tie this one up. But again, if High Voltage picks up a victory here, it's so comfortable to have those 4 victories, just needing one more on offense. We've kind of talked about how Ghost Town is pretty even.
It is and it isn't, I gotta
Really,
say.
really.
So in regular play, once you get an advantage like that, it's like one more, guys, no big deal. In playoffs, it's different. It's like one more. Like, we gotta get that one more.
We need
and then
it.
move on.
Sure, a
And
lot more
you
pressure.
start stressing about it. Where if you just be playing, you'd be better off.
Okay.
It's just a gigantic ball of neurosis.
I guess it's also
all that happens during playoffs, man. You start finding out all sorts of things about yourself.
Zone Delta taking a shot in the IS-3. Now a lot of members, actually it's just Zone who was lit up there. Looks like whoever was on for High Voltage decided to back off, reposition there. Now Zone Delta taking another chunk of damage, pushing on through. Blue Boys Captain having a field day on these huge chunk of tanks going through. The bounce coming out from Blue Boys.
Blue Boys right off the front of his 5,100. That is huge. It's going to keep him in the fight. It's aside from starting to get shoved out. Because once a 5,100 takes damage, it has to change everything the way he plays.
This is a very interesting push indeed coming from eLevate from the beginning. They have pushed 6 members of their entire team going over the flank, looking for the Killzor now. The Killzor, I believe, just tracked G-Forcer. A nice pick up there to stop that. Arclit, Azrael, Static now coming around the side to Blue Boys Captain. He's got to be careful. Blue Boys only one more shot, and he has to go and reload. So it's going to be up to Oggs Mathis, Heavy 20, and these IS-3s for High Voltage to defend their 5,100. And now the battle has begun just around the tanks. Amber Lee is extremely low here. Anfield getting dropped too as well. G-Forcer taking a lot of punishment. He's to find some place to get, or he go down extremely quickly. To Killzor backing up there, that T-32. One more shot, Anvil picks it up, the IS-3 falling, and Angry Guy in a T-37 finds Amar Lee in that 5,100. Dark on Tim responds by taking it right out, and now Azrael finding Killzor. 2 tanks fallen for both of these teams, but the HP is in such favor of High Voltage as Anvil picks up Zone Delta here. It looks like High Voltage, if this continues the way it's going, will find their 4th victory and much needed victory here to try to get, Well, I guess we were talking about the mind games that could come out here. But Heavy 20 backing off now. His shots are depleted. He needs to find some cover because he is one more shot away. Ox Mathis picks up Arthur. Wow! Kill after kill. 3 in a row. Blue Boys captain Wallhacks fighting those tanks. And High Voltage picks up another victory there. And that ended so fast. I was looking for another tank. I was like, wait, who's left of eLevate? No one was left of eLevate. High Voltage picking up that. Now making it 4-2 against eLevate. They'll be switching sides. They'll be going to offense. But I could also see how you're saying in the playoffs when it's now or never, when it's time to show up. eLevate did take a timeout, and a very wise one at that. Again, one more victory, and High Voltage will take it, and they will secure their spot in the finals for $75,000. This is a huge game for both of these teams. But what I was getting at is like you said, maybe being 4 is up isn't always the best thing in playoffs. And also for the other team, for eLevate, it's like, guys, they need one more. We need to turn it on
better
now.
Than down. That's for sure.
True.
I'm just saying.
But
there's
other
never
aspects that pop up.
Right. I'm just saying there's never a point where you really get comfortable.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, it's simple.
You can be up especially 4-1.
You can be up 4-0.
Man.
And when you lose one, trust me, I know about this. You lose one, and it's like, okay.
Why do we lose that?
They could come back now, I guess. And you lose a second one, you're like, okay, they're coming back. This is getting
You
real
lose a
bad.
third.
And they get a third one, and then you start just completely panicking.
Huh.
But overall, that trap, whatever High Voltage just did to eLevate, I'm sure is illegal in at least half of the United States. Because that was brutal. Stepping directly.
I don't know how we were
trap
able to
there.
show that, guys. I'm sorry for anyone who was just scarred from watching that trap.
So Blue Boys with 1982 damage overall in 5100,
Nicely done.
getting in 7 out of 7 shots.
Beautiful.
Heavy 20 he only got 4 out of 6, but I will say the way Heavy 20 had to get those shots was crazy.
Okay.
He's like, drive out in front of 3 IS3s.
Get a bounce.
I guess. And he took 2 shots at Emerly, who was dancing around in the buildings behind him, in 1 shot. Before Angry Guy came in and cleaned it up, because Angry Guy is a monster in the T-37. You know what? I'm comfortable giving him the title of best Tier 6 in the league over Marsh at this point in time, because Angry is consistently great. We've seen him sacrifice play.
Sure.
We've seen him come in and clean up 3 different times at least, 2 of them today.
Well, that was the thing about
And he did 953. He almost did as much damage as to Killzor by 1.
In the playoffs, what I've seen so far just from today is how much more these light tanks, how much more these low-tier tanks are having such an impact on these teams. This is something we haven't really seen as the season has progressed.
Yeah.
The 8 weeks in, we were scouts, but now they are here. They're showing up to play.
Well, trust me, I've noticed, because that is the position that I always loved to play. It's the one that I essentially came to be a professional player playing.
Okay.
So every time I watch, for the most part, it kind of frustrates me,
on
but
that.
I don't get started on it because I'll never stop. Where it's like, well, he could have just done this and this. I don't know what he's scared about.
But now they're finally doing it.
Because, a Tier 8 kills you. Well, then you know a Tier 8 isn't over here, which gives your team the overmatch.
Right.
But to do it well, you basically have to be a battle commander. You have to understand everything, and you have to have great communication. And when I did it, for the most part, I called the battles too.
There we go.
So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, we're into the next battle. If High Voltage picks this up, they will go to the finals for a chance at $75,000. Let's see if eLevate, they have to win 2 to tie it up and 3 to take it. We're in. We've switched sides on Ghost Town. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Talking about that aside,
So excited.
Angry has definitely been living up to the Tier 6 role. I'll tell you that. High Voltage trying to extend their lead by 1 more and close out this match. A 5100, 4 IS3s, a T32 and an AMX-12T. eLevate with 2 5100s, 3 IS3, a Tiger 1 and an M41 Bulldog. The problem here for eLevate, that's obvious. For eLevate, they're down by 2 games.
Yeah.
What I mean is, for High Voltage, they have to assault and win against eLevate on Ghost Town. And that is just one long string of things I don't want to do.
Bad news.
Assault and win in a high-stakes match against
a team
eLevate
who you haven't seen.
on Ghost Town?
Right.
No thanks. I'll pass.
Sure. High Voltage definitely has it cut out for him here.
This is crazy.
This is where we're going to see, maybe that high-level skill of just the individual pro cherry pick for High Voltage. What's going on?
4 IS3s. Just going right down the B-line. Zone Delta surprising him from the outside. I don't think they expected that, but it's something that's been happening in Europe for a couple of months now. And 1 tank at least in position to take advantage of it. The rest of eLevate crashing down on those exposed IS3s.
That's right. Anfield taking 1,300 points of damage there in that IS3, having to back off. They do have the cap pressure, but that is so much damage taken down. Fortunately, he did not go down, but He is one more shot away. And now eLevate just going to rotate around here. Dark Gods in with a very, very large flank coming out from that M41 Bulldog. Let's see how much that'll come into play here. As only 83 seconds are on the cap, eLevate has plenty of time to get set up to find those resets where they need to. Arclet taking the first shots, trying to destroy those destructible terrain for this this northern cap here, so they have an easier shot. An Angry Guy, Dark God Zim almost finishing his flank. Let's see how much he can do, man. If Dark God can pick up Anfield, that would be a huge victory up there for eLevate.
He's got to channel the Angry Guy and pick him up. He can certainly do it. Zone Delta playing an amazing solo position here. If there's one person on eLevate I'd ask to do it, it would be Zone Delta, so great choice there.
Here we go, damage now. Already coming out for Dark God Zim. He has been spotted. Now, Blue Boy's captain going to respond to that. He did not quite find Anfield. Not sure if that's a too big of a thing, but a lot of damage there going on to Amor Lee. Wall hacks picking that one up. Beautiful focus fire, and now eLevate is going to start collapsing. Let's see who has more shots. Let's see who has better focus fire as the battle has begun. One step closer to $75,000. Arclet, 525 points of damage there going into that 5100. He only has one more shot. He actually finds Anfield, a beautiful final shot. If you're going to take one at all, Heavy 20 now in some trouble. Dark God Zim getting bullied by Blue Boy's captain. There was actually ram damage there going out. Blue Boy's finishing off that Walker Bulldog. His final shot going into static, nothing connecting. Zone Delta picks up Ox Mathis. Angry Guy's cap pressure has been foiled. He now has time to build it up, but it was so close, right down to 15 seconds, I believe, at one point. But high voltage, 5 tanks remain against the 4 of eLevate. Static picking up Heavy 20, tying it up 4-4. eLevate want this just as bad as anyone. They want to find the victory, and they want to make it to the finals. High voltage, though, just needs this victory, and they will secure their spots for October 3rd here in Los Angeles. 32 seconds are on the clock. Wall hacks holding down that the cap in that IS-3, taking the shot onto the Tiger 1. Again, the DPM for the Tiger 1 out damages the IS-3 there, but a couple more shots, and G-Forcer should fall. Stack and Azrael actually coming around. Wall hacks might be in some trouble here. If he gets focus fired, that is not going to be a nice story to Killzor finding Ezra from the back. Blue Boys picks it up, and he still has 5 shots left in that 5100. G-Forcer is going to be the next focus, and it looks like High Voltage is going to do it. It looks like they're going to clean this one up, and it looks like we will be seeing them in the finals. Static, though, picking up the Killzor. Blue Boys finds Arclet. G-Forcer to Blue Boys. Wall hack to G-Forcer back and forth, and now just Static remains in that 5100. Wallhack should be able to clean this one up with the help of Angry Guy in that 12T. He's decided to get off the cap. This is for a potentially $75,000. This is one step closer to those finals. One more shot. Who's it gonna be out of? It's Angry Guy. High Voltage has done it. They have the victories, and they will make it into the finals. Our first team to make it. Congratulations to High Voltage there. A very close battle, though, to get to where we were there on Ghost Town. David, you said you wouldn't want to be High Voltage facing eLevate on defense, on mines, but they did, and they picked up the victory. Well done,
I still
Voltage.
wouldn't. That was so incredibly close. The only thing that brought High Voltage back from that was excellent player skill.
Absolutely.
G-Forcer almost carrying the overall match for eLevate to a victory with 20-53 in the Tiger 1.
Oh no!
The Bulldog
So
Dark God
close.
Zim not really getting the amount of damage that he needed to help convert it. Arclet with only 433. Emerly with only 905.
Man.
Both 5100s just not getting the angle into the fight they needed.
Yeah.
And that trap was there. And the IS-3s, monstrous. And wall hacks. Woo! Wall hacks. 25-04 with 3 kills, winning the head-to-head there in the end with a little bit of help from Angry Guy, who did more damage than Anfield's IS-3 with 856 and an AMX 12T. And just Blue Boys.
That's player skill.
No, don't get me wrong. Blue Boys missed a lot of shots there in the end. A lot, like 4 in a row. But still, 1588 with 6 overall penetrations. Great game from High Voltage.
Absolutely.
Well earned. And eLevate. I'm just so sad that we won't see another match of that caliber coming out from eLevate for the rest of the season.
Best of luck to eLevate as they kind of regroup from what just happened. But again, congratulations to High Voltage, our first member to make it into the playoffs. We have one more match coming up right after this break to decide who the second is going to be, and it's either going to be Noble or Refuse. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.